With trans-Tasman rugby trophy, with one trans-Tasman rugby trophy already wrapped up by the Black Ferns, the All Blacks can claim another win. Both teams host their Australian counterparts in Auckland tomorrow night. The double-header at Eden Park, the women's match kicks off at 5, the men's at 7:30, comes after an identical event in Sydney last weekend. Now, the Black Ferns, the women's team, retained the Laurie O'Reilly Memorial Trophy with a comfortable 31-11 win, while the All Blacks, the men's team, were 25-point victors over the Wallabies to go 1-0 up, but theirs is a 3-match series. For the Bledisloe Cup, a win tomorrow night would not only secure the All Blacks the Cup for a 16th straight year, it would also extend their winning streak at Eden Park to 42 matches. But Captain Kieran Reid says those things haven't been their focus this week.
This streak here is not really important in terms of the streak. It's important for the game that this is. This is Bledisloe 2. There's a chance for us to get both hands on the cup. So that's where we're coming from. And we love playing here. This is our home in New Zealand and our home fans, we just enjoy it. So hopefully we can come out here and put on a good performance.
All Blacks captain Kieran Reid there. Joining us now to discuss the game is our excellent sports reporter Clay Wilson. How are you, Clay?
Good evening, John.
What are we talking about? The Black Ferns. What can we expect from them? The Black Ferns are really exciting because it's wonderful to see the rise and rise of women's rugby. Plus, there's a whole lot of new players in this team who've just come from, kaboom. They're coming in and they just look like they belong after one game.
Yeah, there's a lot more names that we're going to start to know a lot more about, I would say. I think in short we can probably expect a better performance with a bit more polish. There was their first game since the World Cup final last weekend, which is about a 10-month period, so you could expect they were a little bit rusty. They lacked fluidity. Australia, you could argue, are getting a little bit closer. They are making strides with their program. They had a women's Super Rugby competition this year, but I would expect the Black Ferns to be much better and probably be too good again.
Yeah, and also they were playing in Sydney last week, right, and they're playing in Auckland this week, so it's a hell of a difference. And this is a fairly Auckland-strong women's team, isn't it?
Definitely is, yeah.
Okay. Plenty of discussion around the crowd for the women's game. So the women's game is at 5 and the men's game is at 7:30.
Correct, yeah.
And what we noticed last week in Sydney is the seats were filling up the closer it got to the men's game, and obviously everyone is really anxious, keen, desirous of avoiding that.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk and disappointment about how few people showed up for the kick-off last week in Sydney. So I guess there's been a lot of talk this week about making sure that with the momentum the Black Ferns have, the momentum women's rugby have, that people show up on time and show their support for the women's team and show that they do really value this team and what they've done, because they've been hugely successful, of course. So
world champs, sevens champs,
So we will see. I guess it's great for the women to have a double header alongside the men, but what that does bring is if people want to come along, it's 4.5 or 5 hours sitting in a stadium seat, paying for overpriced food and drinks.
Not very good overpriced food and drinks. I think the onus is on the organisers to try harder on that front. If they're going to double head and we want both teams to be treated with respect, they have to look after the crowd better if the crowd's going to be there for 4 or 5 hours.
Well, it's a complaint that's been around for a while, I guess. So I guess still a great opportunity for the women's team. So let's see. People will vote with their feet tomorrow.
The men's match, the dear old Wallabies. They were playing at home. Boy, they had a good 30 minutes. I thought, wow, this is exciting. And then off went the All Blacks in the second half. At Eden Park, are they really up against it, Clay?
Well, they certainly are. There's been a lot of numbers thrown around this week, but I just want to highlight a few of the most important ones, just to really show what they're up against this week.
So the Wallabies haven't won.
The Wallabies haven't won at Eden Park since 1986. I was born in 1986, so it's 32 years. It's 17 straight losses, and there was only 4 players involved last weekend that were born before 1986, before that game. They also haven't won in New Zealand since 2001. It's 22-match losing streak. And, of course, the All Blacks at Eden Park, formidable. They haven't lost there in 24 years, a 41-match winning streak. So, Australia are always capable of beating the All Blacks. They did it last year in Brisbane. But you really feel, given everything that we've just spoken about, that they're going to have to play very well and the All Blacks are going to have something of an off night.
I don't know whether we're meant to talk about this. There's lots of other things to talk about, but Michael Cheika, the pressure's got to go on him at some stage. He can't just sit in the box, the coach's box, moaning about the referee ad infinitum. At some stage, he's got to get that team beating the All Blacks, doesn't he? Well,
yeah, I guess he can do everything else, but if he doesn't beat the All Blacks, then people are still going to be complaining. So it's a pretty tough task, you have to say. Arguably they've made small strides, but I guess when it comes to the All Blacks, the world's best team, it's a pretty big challenge.
I hope it's close tomorrow night. I really hope the Wallabies turn up. It'd be really...
I think a lot of us do, just for the rivalry in general.
On the milestone front, Sam Whitelock played his 100th test last weekend. You had a beautiful story about number 100 this weekend. That was on Checkpoint last night. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Owen Franks, of course, veteran prop. He's played He's going to play his 100th test tomorrow night. He's the 9th man to get there. There was some great stuff. He's a really gruff character, man, a few words, but some lovely stuff about emotional texts from his brother and things of this nature. So I guess the sentiment that shone through, he's just an ultimate professional, a guy who looks after his body very, very seriously, and when it comes to game day, he never lets you down. So a great milestone for him.
Are the Warriors going to win tonight, Clay?
Yeah, if they win, they'll seal their first playoff spot for 7 years. So fingers crossed for Warriors fans.
Clay Wilson, thank you very much indeed.